Okay, this is a 2004 Ford E350 one-ton van with a 6.0 liter turbo diesel engine. So this one came in with oil in the coolant, and we did some testing. We found out that the oil cooler was leaking. I pulled the EGR valve out, did not find coolant in there, but we did the EGR cooler and the engine oil cooler at the same time, just because it makes sense. They're both there in the same area. You have them both out. So I wanted to go over a couple things that AllData says and Mitchell On Demand says to do that aren't necessary. You don't have to do those steps to do the oil cooler on this vehicle. As a matter of fact, it'd probably save you hours of time not doing those steps. So what I did on this van is I took the radiator hose off, the upper and lower. I took all the brackets off in the front here, power steering pump bracket. I took the turbo, all the charge air pipes off out of the front. Took this intake hose off, the air filter hose that goes to the turbo. Take all that out the front. Take the alternator out the front. Take the belt off. You do not have to remove the fan shroud. You can leave the fan shroud in. All I did was unbolt the fan shroud from the intake manifold. There's a bracket that goes up over the alternator. That comes out the front. The fuel filter housing comes out the front. The oil fill tube comes out the front. The throttle body comes out the front. After you unbolt all that, you go inside. I take the Y pipe off, take it completely off the engine, out of the vehicle. The main exhaust pipe that goes to the turbo, I pull it back. I took a ratcheting strap, strapped it to the metal below the glove box, and ratcheted it out of the way. That way you can actually loosen the turbo up, and the turbo will be one of the first things that comes out. The turbo will come out through the doghouse area, right through here. It's a real tight fit, but if you get everything, the exhaust pipes, that pipe ratcheted out of the way, the shields out of the way, then the turbo will come right out the back here. So after the turbo is out of the way, I took the whole wiring harness and brought it forward. You can disconnect pretty much all the wires on top of the engine and the wire leading to the transmission, and it can go forward out of the front of the engine area. So after that, I unbolted the whole intake manifold. Now the intake manifold, I was kind of debating on if I should pull it out the back here or pull it out the front. When I took the intake manifold off, I came out the front. It was kind of a tight fit. I fought it. I'm glad I didn't break anything. When I reinstalled the intake manifold, I glued the gaskets to the manifold, and I installed it through the doghouse area through here, which made it slightly easier. You can fit it up through here fairly easy. So after the manifold was off, I pulled the EGR cooler off, and then I proceeded to pull the engine oil cooler out of the valley on the front of the engine. So I think AllData says to completely disconnect and remove this exhaust pipe over here, which is not necessary.